We have a new report from Axios, and they're citing one Bernard Sanders here. Senator Bernie Sanders, incoming chair of the Senate Budget Committee, who caucuses with the Democrats, told CNN State of the Union on Sunday that Democrats plan to push for a coronavirus relief package through the chamber with a simple majority. Budget reconciliation would allow Democrats to forego the Senate's 60-vote requirement and could potentially speed up the next relief package for millions of unemployed Americans. Democrats hold the 50-50 split in the Senate, with Vice President Kamala Harris serving as the tie-breaking vote. Quote, "What we cannot do is wait weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now," Sanders said. So more of his quotes here. "We're going to use reconciliation. That's 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country right now." When asked if he wants a relief bill passed before the former President Trump's impeachment trial begins the week of February 8th, he said, "We've got to do everything. This is not, you don't have the time to sit around weeks on impeachment and not get vaccines into the arms of people." Okay, so now here's the bad news. We're seeing a lot of contradictory information on this. There are Democratic sources behind the scenes who've been whispering into the ears of folks in the media saying, okay, did we say $2,000 checks? What we meant was $1,400 checks. Did we say $1,400 checks right away? What we meant was $1,400 checks by March. Did we say $1,400 checks by March? What we meant is $1,400 checks by April. So, point is, there's a plethora of information coming from a plethora of different sources, and I don't know who to believe. You know, it's possible that Bernie is being told behind the scenes, because they know that despite all of his flaws, he's an honest man and he's a man of principle. They know that, hey, if we tell him that we're going to do it through reconciliation, he'll go out there and say we're going to do it through reconciliation. And maybe we could, hold the base and make people not mad at us by doing that. But really, our plan is to not do it through reconciliation, or certainly to not do it immediately before impeachment. So maybe they're just telling him that and they don't even intend on doing that. That's possible. It's possible they told him that and they do intend on doing it. It's possible he's just stating what he wants to happen, but it's not what's actually going to happen, and the other sources behind the scenes that are saying the checks in March or April, that those are the correct, that's the correct information. I genuinely don't know. Now, listen, I'm a reasonable dude, so my approach to this whole thing was, okay, you know what? I'm going to give them a week. I'm going to give them a week at least to get the ball in motion. So, listen, they ran on $2,000 checks. It was crystal clear. That's why they won Georgia. That's why Warnock won. That's why Ossoff won. Biden was down there campaigning saying $2,000 checks. That's why you won. So you can't say that and then back out of it. But again, I'm a reasonable dude. I understand a lot of stuff going on in Washington right now. It's a total mess. You got to staff the administration. You got to sign the initial executive orders, rolling back the worst of the Trump era stuff that he did through executive orders. I get it. I'm a reasonable dude. I'm giving you a week. If you don't come through in that first week, then I go nuclear. So, and by the way, I like how I'm talking about this as if there are actual consequences for what Kyle Kulinski prefers. No, what that means, I'm going to come out on my show and call them all lying pieces of shit, because they would be lying pieces of shit. But listen, they already pissed me off, if I'm being honest with you, because they passed the $600 checks. And then after they already passed the $600 checks, Biden goes out there, campaigns in Georgia, and says, we're going to get you $2,000 checks. They already passed the $600. Now you're saying we're going to get you $2,000. I'm not good at math, but I know that $2,000 plus $600 is a total of $2,600. Well, what happened? As soon as they got elected, now that became, we're going to get you a total of $2,000. So the $600 already counts towards it, and so we're going to get you $1,400 more. See, that's some Weasley bullshit right there, man. That's some Weasley bullshit. But here's something I cannot abide. Because if you want to be overly kind to the Democrats, you say, okay, it was ambiguous. Because they argued $2,000 before the $600 was passed. So you could say they always meant a total of $2,000. Okay? But then also, after the $600 passed, they kept saying $2,000, which leads me to believe $2,600 total. Anyway, the point is, it was a little bit ambiguous. I'll give you that. Okay? But what I will not abide is now moving the goalpost to, I know we said right away, but now I'm going to say March. And then somebody else comes and says, well, maybe not even March, maybe by April. that I will not abide. Because here's the reality. If Bernie's not right about this, if they're not going to go through reconciliation, they didn't want anything else to get through. They want the credit for proposing it, but they don't want to actually get it through and get the help to the American people. Sorry, that's the reality. Because listen, you have the House, you have the Senate, you have the presidency. You can get whatever you want through. So if you're not getting it through, it's because you don't want to get it through. You can't use the excuse of, the big bad Republicans. Bullshit. You can get it through and you don't even have to eliminate the filibuster. You can use budget reconciliation, which is 51 votes. And in that situation, all you have to do is hold Manchin and hold Sinema and hold Warner, the most conservative Democrats, and you can get it through. Now, listen, they're bad. Those people are bad. But can you get a package through that includes $2,000 checks and a $15 minimum wage and a couple other left-wing priorities that would really help people in the middle of this pandemic and depression? Yes! Yes, you can. So do it. So anyway, listen, this is my way of telling you, in no uncertain terms, if they don't get it through, they don't want it. And they already backed off 2,000 and went to 1,400, total of 2,000. But if they don't get that out ASAP, it's because they don't want to get it out ASAP. And that is totally unacceptable. Because then, and here's the main point, guys, you cannot browbeat and shame people who don't show up to vote for you in the next election if you stab them in the back here. Because you were crystal clear. You were on the record. It was $2,000 checks and we're going to get to them ASAP. It's the Republicans are the ones who are standing in the way. Sure, Trump was for it, but, the Republican Party, like McConnell, they're the ones who are against it. They're the ones who are blocking it. Vote for us and you'll get it. You can't back off of that now. You can't back off of it because then you're just lying. You were lying the entire time. And that's unacceptable. So it doesn't matter if you go to people in the next election cycle, they're going to say to you, you lied to me. At some point, human nature kicks in, guys. And it doesn't matter if your argument is, hey, my opponents suck 100% of the time, but I suck 87% of the time. Or you want to be kind? I suck 65% of the time, but they suck 100% of the time. People are going to say, you could take your math and shove it up your ass. Person to person, you told me $2,000 checks immediately. You didn't deliver on that, even though you could have delivered on that. So why would I vote for you? You can go fuck yourself. Neither party's representing me, and I'm going to sit on the bench this time. And you could wag your finger at me and shame me all day long, but guess what? I don't give a fuck. Because I'm a reasonable dude. I would have voted for you if you passed the $2,000 checks and you did it immediately like you said you would do. But you didn't do it. So listen, I'm warning everybody. I'm telling you beforehand. If you want to make sure that people show up to vote for you the next time, pass the checks. Do it now. It's really not that complicated. I told you, there was an article in The Hill. Democrats look to repeat the Georgia victory throughout the South. And in that article, there wasn't a single line mentioning, hey, one of the main reasons why they won Georgia is because of the $2,000 checks. Not a single line mentioning that. How are you going to repeat the victory that you had in Georgia if you don't even understand one of the main reasons why you won Georgia? You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, period. So Bernie better be right here. I hope Bernie's right because they're already fucking up in my opinion. What they could have done and what they should have done is day one, $2,000 checks on the floor. You could try to do it through regular order, which means you need 60 votes total so that the Republicans hop on. When the Republicans don't hop on, you make them pay a political price, and you immediately start the process to do budget reconciliation, and then you pass it with 51 votes or 53 or 54, however many you get, and then you rub it in, and you say, we got you the $2,000 checks, the Republicans blocked it, every Democrat's for it, or 99% of Democrats are for it, there was only 4% of Republicans who were for it. Look at which party's looking out for you. It would have been the easiest political win of all time, and it would have helped the American people colossally. But they're already fucking it up. But listen, again, I'm kind. I'll give them a week. That means they have a day or two more. By all means, let's see it. Let's see it. You said you're going to do the reconciliation? Let's see you do the reconciliation. I'm watching. You're going to get that $1.9 trillion package through reconciliation, right? Which is $1,400 checks and $15 minimum wage and a couple things in there. If you get that through reconciliation and you do it ASAP, I will give you credit. But none of this bullshit about waiting all the way until March or April, because people need the help now. Bernie seems to understand that. Other Democrats don't seem to understand that, and they don't seem to care that they're brazen liars if they don't follow through on one of these main promises that they made. So I'm rooting for them, man. I really am. But if they don't do the right thing, it makes sense to go nuclear on them.